Yay. Here we are with amazing Lesley Gilbert, a friend of mine, herbalist, and so many other things. So good to have you just chatting and moving with us a little bit.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, yes. First, a little commercial because this is real. I am drinking some of Lesley's magical tea while we're doing this. This is a mix of peppermint, lemon balm. Is it Go-To Cola? Is that how you pronounce it?
That's how I pronounce it, yeah.
And cardamom. She made this for me. This is the Sacred Spaces logo, y'all. Here we go. And then,
there we go.
Here we go. And then I was sharing with her some of the things that I've just been carrying and holding and moving with these past several months. And she made this animal spirit spritzer for me. And it smells and it feels so good every time. So I wear it every day since you've given it to me.
Oh, yay.
So I've just got a couple questions because this theme that we're talking about roots into local food and foraging. And we're holding space for this embodied proximity thing that I planted a seed with you around, just related to just getting as creative as we can, thinking about how to just go into more intentional relationship to what's within a 1 to 3 mile radius of where we live, where we work, where we move, all the things. And so, that doesn't have to be that big, but just like what's right outside our front door. Like, how can we be in this kind of localized, more intentional relationship of proximity where we can connect to earth and others and ourselves. And so this theme, local food, local foraging, connects us to you in some of these spaces. So just tell us, like, in just a minute or two, like, who are you? What is Sacred Spaces? Why Sacred Spaces?
Take it away. Yeah. Take it away. Okay. So my name is Lesley, and the who am I part's always tricky, but so I've got many certifications, right? I'm an herbalist, I'm a master gardener, yoga instructor. We own 35 acres. We're kind of building this permaculture retreat center type thing. But yeah, so Sacred Spaces, the idea came through me to me. Was to literally help people create a sacred space. So whether that's and specifically like in their home or in their yard or in their garden in relationship to plants. So it's sacred spaces with the plant. So creating plant sanctuaries for people. So being, getting together with someone and having a consultation, and then me just kind of intuitively or having that conversation with them on what it is, what plants we're calling to them, and then helping them cultivate that, again, in their home or in their gardens, specifically. So our themes align a lot. So it's to build relationship, right? So we use the plants to go deeper into cultivating relationship with self, to highest self. And I think that's really important because we need to be able to tap into our intuition. And we're able to tap into our intuition. We're able to then hear the call, right? From ancestors, from spirit guides, from our plant guides. Then we're able to then show up to do the work it is that we're called to do. So that's what this space was, the container for that. And I did those kind of projects, like I'd create gardens for people or get them, plants in their homes. And then it's transformed into classes and workshops and retreats and one-on-one consultations. So it's kind of a multifaceted business, but that's a quick who I am and what I do. I think I covered all the answers or questions. Yeah.
It was amazing. And we were Lesley and I were talking earlier how just having such a multitude of different passions, but all of them like being aligned in a lot of ways too, right? There's that central thread of health, of awareness, connection, relationship, healing, like these threads that bring all these things together. So it's so beautiful.
Yes.
So specific to, there's so many branches that could go out of everything you just shared, but this is like, just touch a little one, an intentional one, being foraging. So thinking about like reorienting or introducing for the first time, or just moving into how do I, so a couple tips for people who are watching for how can people be inspired or think about or move in an intentional way related to think like what's growing right outside their front door, related to something that might be edible or related to something that might be medicinal, and this invitation of foraging. So I know that's
Yes.
a big question, but just a couple little things.
Well, I think it just goes back to this whole relationship idea. So if you literally are just going outside, sitting with like, so dandelion, like that's an easy one. Like most people, so like as like an herbalist or a botanist, right? Like the number one rule is like identification, right? Like you want to make sure you got the right plant. But like, let's put all the science behind us for a second. Like if you can just sit and be, I think that's probably like one of the number one things I would suggest for people is just to be, like you said, just to be in relationship with that plant, whatever it may be. Again, to be open enough to have the awareness to hear the messages that the plant wants to tell you. So it could be as simple and then fun, right? So that's like my number 2 tip is to like have fun with it. So like you're sitting with a dandelion plant. It may feel silly. And you're like, okay, I'm sitting here in my yard, like looking at this plant, but right, you do that. You have fun with it. And then maybe it's telling you like it needs you to, like it wants to be a pesto or it wants to be a fritter. And then you get to just really play and experiment. I think there could be a lot of hesitation around foraging wild things, like, hey, like, is this okay? Should I be grabbing that? So just giving yourself that permission first, if it's definitely in your yard. But then you get to just play with it. So it's like, there's no rules, right? Like I'm not a rule follower. Like, so you just get to build relationship and then have a lot of fun with it. And then like my third little tip would be is gratitude. So something that's really important to me that was taught by several of my teachers is that you definitely want to give thanks, of course, to whatever it is that you're taking. So you're asking for permission, you're asking for the messages, and then it's a living thing, right? Like these plants are living creatures, so they hold some sort of energy to them. So when you take that, I think we should be thankful of that. And then it takes it to that like next vibration, that next consciousness, that next level of awareness when we acknowledge the plant spirit, and then you give it gratitude. And then that comes with it. So my teacher said, if you don't thank it, the plant spirit doesn't come with you. So I think that's important to share as well.
I love that. Yeah, the gratitude piece is so important. And I feel like there's so many different, I think like the ethics of like, oh, should I be pulling it or should I be like there's so many layers to that. There's so many layers to, all the different medicines and food groups and things that are out there. But I love the invitation. And this is why y'all, we like the herbalists of our time, the spaces that Lesley and others hold with so much care and compassion are so, in my opinion, they're so deeply needed as we think about creative, intentional ways to move and honor in this time. And so I just think of all the layers beyond just the things that Lesley planted, just in terms of being present, fun, all that.
Right.
So I love it. Yay.
Right. Yes.
The last little question, because again, I have so many, we could talk about this for hours.
Oh my God, I could talk about this for hours. Foraging and wildcrafting was one of my absolute favorite things to do in my herbal training. And I'll just get to the story when you ask the question, but.
I love it. Well, So the next question is how can people best support you? How can they move alongside some of your creative work? How can we invite people along sacred spaces in your wisdom?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's, again, like my business is a multifaceted thing. But I am available for consultation. So that can look a couple different ways. So I do offer, like I said, these classes and workshops specifically to where I live. So I'm in Canyon City, Colorado. And I do take people on plant walks and foraging, like plant identification, proper harvesting techniques, medicine making 101, like the more like how to of it all. But I don't have to be local. Like we're on Zoom right now, and I have clients literally across the country that work with me in a multiple different ways. So my favorite way to work with people is through this health and wellness coaching. So it's a holistic approach to shifting your lifestyle in a way that is in alignment. So it's using the plant medicine, it's using yoga, it's using kind of like all the tools that we have. So I do offer online Zoom consultations, and then I have a program as well that I was telling Jonathan about. It's a 3-month coaching program. It's called Release, Restore, and Awaken. We go through the physical body, mental body, emotional, and spiritual body in ways that we could release things that no longer serve us, to restore, and then to awaken to, again, what is trying to move through us. So there's just a couple ways that you could work with me, but I'm happy to like answer gardening questions, or if I can, like identify plants for people. So you could find me on Facebook, Sacred Spaces, the Facebook page, Instagram, and I'm happy to just help people just to help you if you have questions around foraging or gardening or whatever it may be. I'm available.
So awesome. Well, so maybe, okay, so then to close, maybe one story or one experience just around your home that's unique to you, like something that's unique to what's right outside your home, that's just a special foraging relationship that you have that is unique to you and your family.
Yeah, so I just posted this on Instagram, me and my boys. So I have a little 5-year-old and an 8-year-old. And we found wild biscuit root and wild onions, and they just thought that was so much fun, like taking their shovels out there and digging up the plants. And they helped me, like the 5-year-old especially just loves getting in the kitchen with me. Again, we get to just play and experiment. We pickle, we saute, we just like do all the things. So, it's just, again, about literally just go out there and just have fun and just look what's down on the ground. But we've got juniper berries here as well. So we're in the desert, so there's not like a ton of abundance, but it's enough, right? Like just to honor what we do have. And they were just having so much fun, like going around and like, oh my God, here's another one. And oh my God, here's another biscuit root. And just seeing their joy of just like discovery of that, like, oh my God, you can eat this, and they're tasting things and just like really having fun with it. And we had a friend over, and they're showing the friend, like, and then they get to teach, which was really cool, like what they found. So definitely involve your kids and whoever's with you. It's just like a fun, lighthearted thing that you get to do. But that was ours. We just got to play a couple days ago. And just digging like with the little shovels, and they were just so cute.
It's so awesome. Yeah. And I think it's so interesting, Lesley, like, so we're recording this in the middle of coronavirus hitting the US and the world. And so many, we just got an update for Denver that school kids won't go back to school till the end of this semester. So the end of the year, everything's either kids are at home or virtual or whatever is like so, this is, I think for anyone watching this, Lesley and other herbalists or other people that are doing this kind of work as resources for like creative education from home with kids. Because I don't
totally.
So right, like there's so many layers to how we expand these ideas and invitations around education. And so anyway, I think that's another, if you have parents who are trying to come up with content or trying to get creative in your network, that this is another invitation. I feel like for families.
Totally. Yeah. If families have questions, I've helped families create their own like home apothecaries, like what is it that they need for kids. Again, like I'd be happy to share like what we do outside to forage and kind of our scavenger hunts that we create. And like we're trying to keep things with this whole coronavirus really just lighthearted and making them feel safe and secure and just getting to be kids, right? Like just being outside and playing. So if I can help even just inspire that for other families to just, you know, you could put the books down, put the Zooms down, the online Google Classrooms or whatever it is. And knowing that too is totally educational, right? And connection and bonding. So it's not just the one thing, it's like all the things.
All the things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Blessings, my friend. Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
with us. And I'm going to be putting, you'll see below, for those who are watching, the links to Lesley's information, Sacred Spaces, to the 3-month workshop, and some consultation stuff below. So
perfect. And then I created a quick little 1-page PDF of some of the tips. So I'll send that to you, Jonathan, if you want to post that and share that. That's, again, just some like free information for people.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. All right. Boom.